5. He'll take a peek to the inside. Slide him high off the corner.
There's contact there in turn 1 and 2. Oh my goodness, Hassler has it out front. They bang doors.
After 4 months and 17 races all across America, the Misfit Touring Series comes to a close tonight at Langley Speedway. The championship fight is all but decided, but there is still so much on the line heading into the final 200 laps of our longest race on the calendar. We'll have it all here tonight for you live on V-Speed. I'm Sky Shrek, and I'm joined in the booth tonight by Eddie Smith, who will also be working the controls on production. Eddie, why don't you give us a rundown on those points as we head into championship night?
Well, I mean, the points are decided. This is just a really long victory lap for Christian Peterson, who has got the championship locked up here just by showing up. The amount of cars, not enough to make a difference. Kyle Terzak, incredible season, going to come up a little bit short. So Christian Peterson is going to be your champion tonight. And what a great way to have it. Just 200 laps at Langley, and it's just sort of a victory lap here tonight.
It is for sure, but there's still a couple battles further down. Terzak and Sylvia are going to be going at it hard for second tonight as well. A lot of drivers going to be battling for those final couple spots in the points. We're going to head in to something a little different tonight. We're going to be doing some single car qualifying. Typically, you're used to seeing, we start with qualifying and then go straight into the heats. We're going to do a little bit of single car here, and then from the single car qualifying, we'll take the top 5 to the feature. Everybody else's position will be decided through a series of heat races tonight, and then from there, we will go into the feature, and it looks like in just a couple seconds, we're going to get started. Are there any drivers that you're watching, Eddie, as someone that might be able to do pretty good out here?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Adams, Tanner Bethea, some guys that we constantly see fighting for sort of the top 5. I want to see those guys and how they do as you see Michael Wiseman coming out on track now as he is going to set the pole time initially. I don't know. I think Terzak obviously got the opportunity to win. Peterson, but Peterson just really doesn't have much to play. There's not much he needs to do. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be a factor here tonight. It looks like Wiseman's having some sort of connection issue during his qualifying time.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to bode well for his lap time because he's definitely having some internet issues there. Taking lap 1, I don't feel he is going to get scored by iRacing. It is going to be a 15.86, which is not particularly good. And with the connection issues he is continuing to have, I'm going to imagine this next lap is not going to be particularly good either for Michael Wiseman. And I take that statement back because he's just gone 15.399 on my ticker. That would have been second fastest in practice. So that's a good lap. He'll pull off. We'll go on to the next car in the order. That's the 79, Anthony Yankello, a driver who hasn't had a great season, but he's been pretty consistent, and he'll be looking to move up the points today as he starts lap 1.
Yeah, you see the outside line coming to the checker flag, the green flag, getting as much speed as he can, and then right around, just hooking that left front on that yellow line. Gets a little wide on the exit there. We'll see what he does as he crosses the line, and not quite enough that time to get it done. We'll see if he can get it on this final lap, although I do think he's done. So.
Yeah, Yankello's only going to run that lap. Next up on the racetrack, I believe, is going to be the 86 machine of Justin Crow. He'll roll it out there. One of our better drivers in the point standings. He's had a great season. Not quite able to get the points win here, but he is coming into this race third, just 20 points behind Kyle Turzak. Turzak has a bad race, or Crow beats him. He's got a great chance to move up into second tonight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously one of the most consistent drivers this season, but just unfortunate to not have a win just yet. So maybe Justin Crow is going to be one of those that we need to be watching out for, who is just kind of littered in the top 5 with a bunch of winners, and he has yet to get that win. So I know he would love to do that here tonight. See him go all the way down to the apron, help that car turn as he comes off down the back straightaway. Might have made a little contact with the wall. You don't want to do that on qualifying.
No, and his first lap wasn't good because he put it all into lap 2. He'll come across with a 15.372, and that'll put him to the top of the board. Pole for now, Justin Crow. He's the only driver in our top 5 that hasn't won a race this season. This would be a great chance to get it done. And now we come around to our championship leader, Christian Peterson. All he needs to do is set a lap time. Doesn't matter what it is, any lap time here, and he will qualify for the race, and that will be enough to win him the title.
All the work that you put in over the season, this is, you get to enjoy it if you're Christian Peterson. It's just, he did all that he needed to do all season, and now with a 15.822, he locks himself in as the champion, and he is your 2025 Misfit Touring Series champion. And yeah, just still going to try to lay it down. I mean, these guys don't show up to ride around. They wants to get out there and try to win this race, and we'll see as he does take the top spot by just half a tenth there.
Yeah, it's tight early on in qualifying. Christian Peterson took him a while to get his first win this season. We were talking about it for weeks. He didn't get it until Irwindale just 2 weeks ago. Would be pretty nice for him to go out on both a win and the championship here. Now we're going to watch Cody Dempster go around. Driver that's had a lot of speed in the races he's ran, but he hasn't been very consistent attendance-wise, and he doesn't have a win yet this season. Would be a good time to change that in the final race. He'll roll around here on his first lap. Seems like he wants that to be the fast one, but he's not only going to go 4th on the board. We'll see what he does lap 2.
Got one of the best looking cars on the track. It's such a cool looking paint scheme. I love the colors. Seems like the car is driving pretty good. I love the way these cars sound. They're just so amazing as he gets close. Yeah, it gets close, but just good enough for third as he crossed the line with a 15.388.
Next up, Jackson Sparks. The driver doesn't have a lot to fight for in the points, but we've put a $50 bounty on the winner of this race, and that is something he is here to claim. So while he might not be able to move up the point standings at all, he would sure like an extra 50 bucks if he can bring it home in victory lane tonight. He'll run pretty low on the outlap. I think lower than we've seen a lot of drivers try to run it, and he'll go straight back down to the bottom trying to get some speed into 1 and 2.
Yeah, car slides up just a little bit in the middle of the track. I've seen a lot of the faster guys not do that, so maybe a little bit tight in the middle, overdriving it just a little bit, but you really have to drive these cars down into the corner. You're almost losing it. If you're not spinning out in qualifying, you know, almost spinning out, you're probably not going to be fast, and that's only good for a 16 flat there. We'll see if he can improve upon that here on lap number 2.
He's going to come to the line, and he's going to set a 15.615. That will put him 6 out of 6 on the board. You mentioned spinning and qualifying for being loose. I think that might become an issue here in the race, too. We're doing 200 laps at Langley. It's the hottest track temp that we've run on all season, and you only got 1 tire change, so you've got to make your set run at least 100 laps with that extra heat on the track. It's going to be very difficult for these drivers today. Probably the most challenging race of the season for these guys, as we've got Jace Hale making his first lap right now, dipping it straight back to the bottom in 3 and 4. A lot of guys running both laps as hot laps. Pretty good lap there for Jace Hale. That'll put him up the board into 3rd.
You know, I love it. I love the fact that they have just so few tire sets. I mean, I think that's what the Cars Tour does. I mean, the Car Tour is all about saving tires. That's been something that has been talked about many a times, and these guys have asked for this. They want to be able to save tire. They want that tire management to be important, and tonight it is definitely going to be important. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a bit different. We're used to having 2 tire sets for 100 laps. Now you've got 2 tire sets for 200 laps, and the track's a little hotter as well. Clayton Edwards was the next car out, but he has reset it back to the pits, and it looks like he is going to try to go again here. I don't think he got a lap in before he parked it. Maybe got a pit road unsafe exit penalty there or something to set him back.
Yeah, he just didn't like the way the wind was blowing there, I guess. Just decided to let me start over. And so going to try to set a pretty good lap time. It's pretty tight all the way in the top 5. I mean, very, very close. Less than a tenth separates first through fifth. So if anybody can, it seems like you're going to have to be in the 3s to be up towards the front. That's a 4.39 for Clayton Edwards. So we'll see if he can improve upon that here. And it looks like it's not going to do that. So
yeah, he will pull it off. This series has been so close all season at the front of the field. Kyle Terzak, he's won 8 of our 17 races, and you see him already getting loose right there. He's kind of been the intimidator. He's dominated everybody, but he's got to try to win this race if he wants to get 9 out of 18 races won, and also if he wants to get second in the point standings. Christian Peterson, he missed a couple races. That's why he is not your points champion, but he's going to try to go out on a win here if he can. He'll run the top on 1 and 2, just going to build up some speed, but he'll cut it right down to the apron next time around, and I think Kyle Terzak is going to have a great shot at this pole all the way on the apron as he comes at a 4, and it is by 1/100th of a second. Kyle Terzak jumps to the front.
yeah, you could see his car was really, really driving good in the middle of the corner on the entry. Through the center, it was really, really solid, and it just seemed like he was turning the middle better than anybody, able to kind of let it roll, keep that speed up, and then drive it off the corner a little bit lower than some guys have. So Terzak's got that thing tuned up just right. As we see Kyle Adams out on the track, running that high line, getting the temps up on the tires as quickly as possible. In iRacing, temperature is everything, and you do not want to have cold tires. If you can do anything to heat those bad boys up, you want to do it ASAP, as he is coming to take his first lap, and we'll see what he can do.
Interesting line compared to what we saw at a Terzak. Kyle Adams was kind of running the middle there in 1 and 2 versus Terzak, who was going all the way up on his outlap trying to make something happen, and he is going to slow it down and stop it. So Kyle Adams is going to go last on the board with that lap. 15.62 puts him 10th out of 10. And I believe we have 3 cars still to go, or 2 cars still to go.
Kyle Adams did not have a great run at all there. Now I got Jake Grout. See if he can knock off the top spot here.
That's what we're going to see. He's been one of our faster drivers this year, and he's a driver. He's going to need some help to move up in the points. He can't really get up to 4th. He's 5th right now, but Kyle Adams is just 22 points behind him coming in. And so Jake Rout would really like to hold on to that final spot in the top 5. Not a great lap there as he's building up speed to take lap 2 as fast as he can. Jake Rout's going to come around right on that apron. Good drive through the corner. We'll see where he slots in. It's 15.377. That'll get him towards the front. He'll be 5th with 1 car to go.
Next up, Alex Hallinar. And we've seen a few drivers stick both left sides down on the apron to help the car turn. Just not enough banking at this track to get turned through the center. Terzak was probably the best one so far. Obviously, he's up front. But we'll see what Hallinar can do. As you can see, you just want to drive all the way down to that yellow line and then just drop that left front at least over that the apron to help the car just rotate in the center. It seems like those who've got all the way down on the apron, it doesn't work as well as Hallinar going to be a 15.535 as he crossed the line.
Hallinar hasn't had the best season in terms of results, but he's came out pretty well in the points. He's going to be 7th coming into this race, and I don't think anyone can really get him, so he's going to be 7th coming out of this race as well. He's been consistent with attendance. He's been here every week. He's run pretty clean, stayed up, took advantage of other people's mistakes, and he's going to get a pretty solid points finish out of this, finishing ahead of some really fast drivers like Wiseman and Cody Dempster. Qualifying will come to an end, and we got an update from Kyle Adams. He had an issue where iRacing started him on lap 1 and was black flagging him for putting in the pits. So when he got to the line on the out lap, it was already the white flag lap. That is why he ran a bad lap. That is why he will be rolling off 12th tonight. And I believe we are going to do some heat races here. So we've got 5 cars going straight to the feature. Those will be Terzak, Peterson, Crow, Jace Hale, Jake Grout. The 7 cars behind him are going to go to a heat race, and that will determine their starting positions tonight.
And, we'll see if we can take a look at that. And it looks like it's going to be Cody Dempster, Michael Wiseman, Clayton Edwards, Alex Hallinar, Anthony Yankello, Jackson Sparks, Kyle Adams, Carter Levi, Tanner Bethea, and Anthony Bello are going to be, Bello is going to be your starting grid.
Yeah, those final 3 cars not in the session right now, so we're going to start this race without them. They're not going to be taking the green flag tonight. So that's going to leave us with 12 cars for 200 laps here at Langley. And if you're a driver who had a problem in qualifying, like that 24 Kyle Adams did, this is your chance to maybe improve that starting position here, especially if we have that invert tonight. Could really help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's nice to be in these heats because you get a little chance to practice almost. It's like an extra little bit of time that you get. And, you kind of want to try something, do something different maybe than you're planning on doing in the race and see if it works. If it doesn't, you can adjust in the future.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect this heat to be calm. We've seen some chaotic heat races here this season, and this will be our last one on the season. So I think these drivers are really going to be going at it, trying to get themselves up the field. Cody Dempster and Michael Wiseman are 2 cars that we know have had a lot of speed throughout the season. They're going to start on the front row of this heat because there are so many good cars in the field tonight. I think these guys are both threats to get finishes not just in the top 5, but maybe even in the top 3. And with the lights off on the pace car, I think they're going to do battle. It's going to be a great heat race here. It's going to be 10 laps at Langley.
You can tell they're ready to go. They're gassing up, trying to get some heat in those tires, getting aggressive, getting loose, trying to get those shoulders and arms out, get the elbows out, and get ready to do some racing here at Langley.
Yep, pace cars getting ready to pull off here this time around. We got 7 cars going to take the green for this heat race. And we are off. Green flag on championship night.
Great jump for Cody Dempster, able to get out to the lead. It's going to be Michael Wiseman and Clayton Edwards side by side for second. Cody Dempster happy about that, wants to keep them side by side. And so far, neither one of them are willing to give up that spot, although it looks like Clayton Edwards now going to get the position as that banking just is not going to give you any love on that outside.
No, this is a track that's very inside dominant. We've seen a couple races this year. Irwindale was one of them where drivers could really make that top line work. This is not Irwindale. There's almost no banking here at any point. You want to run it straight on the inside, and if you can, you want to run it a little bit on the apron to try to help that car turn. You can see how set up these cars are for running the low line. And as this race progresses, there's going to be more and more marbles that get laid up high, and that's going to make it even more treacherous to move up the racetrack. These drivers want to be right on the bottom. Kyle Adams is already up 2 spots from the start of this race. He is looking at Yankello, trying to get to 4th.
I mean, he could see 2 or 3 spots that he can make up pretty quickly as everybody's just nose to tail. It's like freeway traffic out here from 2nd back to 5th. And so Kyle Adams has already picked up a couple spots. Now just needs to be a little patient, although he does get a little look-see on the inside, although Anthony Yankello was like, no, sir, I'm not giving you this one, and kind of shades to the left. As it goes in the corner, I think Clayton Edwards got a little bump there from Michael Wiseman. Got him a little bit out of shape, but he hangs on to it. It is getting spicy up here, Scott.
That's not going to be the only one of those we see tonight. A little bump from Wiseman to Edwards. That's the way you pass, and you're going to see it right behind him. Yankello's going to get moved out of the way by the 24 of Kyle Adams. The inside is so dominant. You got to use the bumper, just like Kyle Adams does there. Spins out Wiseman. Yankello involved as well. Caution is out. We're going to have a green-white checkered in this heat race.
Well, no surprise there. I mean, that we were expecting that. We're going forward here with Kyle Adams. Trying to make those positions up, just gets on the gas a little bit too early And unfortunately, Michael Wiseman gets clipped on that right rear. And when the car is unloaded coming off the corner like that, a little tap to the right rear, there's really not much Wiseman can do, or really Kyle. So that car was going around no matter what.
Yeah, you saw it on drivertees.com replay. Adams was using his bumper to get his way up through that field. He had been for a couple positions, maybe just a bit too hard of a bump that time. Sent that car around. We're going to re-rack him here. It's going to be 2 to go, I believe, when we take the green flag in this heat race. As the race, has been extended a couple laps here to accommodate for a green-white checkered. Still going to be Cody Dempster, Clayton Edwards out front, but a couple drivers who were out of it have moved into a good position. Alex Hallinar promoted to 3rd on that. Jackson Sparks promoted up to 4th as well. Michael Wiseman will go to 5th. He's still having some internet issues back there that could hurt him. Kyle Adams claimed the caution, goes to 6th. Anthony Yankello has decided he is done for the heat race in P7.
Get doubled up, get ready to go back green flag racing for this green-white checkered Cody Dempster. Not really happy to see that. He was gone in the wind, and now he's going to have a really good restart here. Restarts are just so scary because you can always make a silly mistake, not get through the gears just right, miss a shift. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, but you stay calm, you'll get it done, and if he can get away, he'll be the winner here.
For sure. He's got Clayton Edwards who's going to fight really hard on that outside. I don't think he's got much of a risk of a crazy dive bomb from behind. I don't think that's the kind of move Alex Hallinar is going to pull, especially not in a heat race. Lights are going to be out on the pace car this time. We'll get him formed up. Will Cody Dempster be able to run away with it again?
I just don't know about using the bumper here. I'd be worried that if I use it in this race in the feature, it might come back to bite me. So we'll see who's aggressive, decides to use that bumper here to win this race. I don't know. Don't want to make too many enemies here early to get ready to go green.
No, you don't. Pace car is going to pull in this time. 6 cars stacked up behind it. Great jump for Dempster with green with 2 to go.
Dempster gets away, not really close enough for Clayton Edwards to really do anything, and he kind of makes a gap. Back to second goes Clayton Edwards, and we're almost 3 wide back here. Holy cow! As Wiseman was trying to get to the inside, as he blinks out again, as Kyle Adams, the 7 of Jackson Sparks, all over the places where white flag is out.
White flag's out for Cody Dempster, but they're racing hard behind. Cody Dempster will come out of 4. He'll win the heat race tonight. Edwards 2nd. I'm not sure who got 3rd because Wiseman was blinking out at the line. Give it to Wiseman. Hallinar 4th. Kyle Adams just barely 5th. Jackson Sparks P6.
Well, that was pretty good. Let's do that 200 more times. What do you say, Scott?
I think that is going to be pretty fun. We're going to see if we have an invert here, what that invert will be. Usually it's the top 5 cars from qualifying plus a random number, either 1 through 6, although I will say we have gotten 6 a lot this year, so that is what we are going to find out once we get rolling here. We're going to send it trackside here, and we will be getting the national anthem underway.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
We are back here from Langley. The feature is getting ready to get underway. And as these drivers are lining up, we're going to tell you a little bit about Langley Speedway, our venue for tonight's race. We're going to zoom right in on Hampton, Virginia, right on the coast. This track, 0.4 miles in length, 6 degrees of banking in the corners, 2 degrees down the straightaways. Very old track, opened for the first time in 1950. It's a current racetrack in the Cars Tour, as we've mentioned earlier tonight. The NASCAR Modifieds have raced here previously, and NASCAR star Denny Hamlin got his start right here in Virginia at Langley. It's a historic venue, one that's hosted a lot of great racing through the years, and now we are here with it tonight for the Misfit Racing League. We got an update on our inverts tonight as these drivers line up. It will be 9 cars getting inverted, so that'll put Alex Hallinar on the pole once we get rolling.
What do you say we talk about the race analysis there, Scott? 200 laps tonight, and my gosh, only 2 sets of tires. 1 on the car and 1 in the pits. That's going to be unbelievable. Pit road speed 30 miles an hour. I think 3 green, white checkered attempts, 100% fuel load, open setups, and of course the 9-car invert.
And so we're going to see these guys starting up front, pull to the inside here. Once this gets cycled around, we're going to do a little bit of math. We got some cars taking EOLs, we got some cars moving all around, but it looks like to the pole is going to be Alex Hallinar in that 57 car, going from 9th to 1st. Circling through on the outside would be Michael Wiseman, but I believe Michael Wiseman has elected to take an EOL. So Clayton Edwards will be the next car up behind Alex Hallinar. Yes, so he'll restart 3rd. We're going to move up a row. Cody Dempster will go to 2nd with Wiseman taking the EOL. It'll be Clayton Edwards 3rd, Jace Hale starting 4th tonight. From there in 5th, you can see it'll be Jake Grout and Jake Grout, Justin Crow back there as well. Christian Peterson, Kyle Turzak, and then you go back to the cars outside the top 9, which would be Kyle Adams, Jackson Sparks, Anthony Yankello, and Michael Wiseman, who has elected to start from the rear tonight. Lights are out on the pace car. They're pulling it into the pits, and we are green for 200 laps at Langley.
Great jump for Cody Dempster as he gets out front. It's going to have Alex Hallinar behind him. As, my goodness, these cars are screaming around this track. I love it.
Yeah, these cars sound so good. Lap 2 already, Dempster. Great driver he's gotten out front. He's held a lot of speed this year, but he doesn't have a win. Starting up front on the invert might be the chance for him to do it. Hallinar and Edwards behind, and a big move coming in from Jake Grout in 4th. He's trying to send it up the inside of Edwards. Won't be able to do it. He'll have to back out.
Yeah, Jake Grout, a winner this season, knows how to get it done, and he knows there's faster cars coming. Those guys are going to be up at the front before too long, especially with the way this race is set up. 200 laps, only 2 sets of tires. It's a curious thing. You want to make up positions. You want to make up ground and stuff, but you really have to be careful about those tires. Only 1 set, you got to take care of them. You got to put at least 100 laps on each set. That is a long time at a track like this. So patience is going to really pay off here.
Yeah, and even with the nighttime start time, track temperature right now, 81 degrees. Pretty warm out there for this late at night. These drivers are going to have to run an average of 100 laps on each set of tires. As you see the move coming right now from Jake Grout. He's going to worry about tire wear later. He's going to move to the front right now. He's clear into 2nd. And hey, look, Christian Peterson, championship winner, through to 3rd. Now it's Kyle Turzak through for 4th. Now it's Justin Crow through for 5th. Now it's Kyle Adams through for 6th. Very bad series of corners there for Alex Hallinar.
Well, that tells you everything you need to know about the outside line for this track. So if any viewer out there was wondering, I wonder if you can make it work on the outside, the answer is hell no, because it was not happening. It was just a train on the bottom and just nothing Hallinar could do. And you can see he goes from 2nd all the way back to 8th in just a lap or so. So frustrating it has to be, but that's good for us because that means there's going to be a lot of bumpers get used tonight.
For sure. The inside's the only way to go about it. You already see a little bumper being used there. Turzak with some brief contact into the back of Christian Peterson down the straightaway. We're going to be single file on the inside, I think, for a lot of this race, and it's going to be a lot of pushing and shoving. Cars getting the bumpers out, trying to gain spots. Cars trying to do all they can to generate a run down the straightaway so that they're able to pull this end to the inside. And these laps are going to take off quick. Langley's a short track. We're running 13-second laps. We're already through lap 10, and there's your first big move of the race. Turzak into the side of Peterson. Caution is out.
Well, the wall saved Peterson there, but look at that. First and second points. The championship has been decided, but they are not racing like that. As they make a little bit of contact, and an awesome save, sort of akin to Kyle Larson. And the wall kind of saved him there. Look at that replay. That was awesome.
Yeah, you'll see it on drivercheats.com replay. Turzak into the back of Peterson and gets under him, and then goes into the side of Peterson as well. He's lucky that wall was there, or else he would have gone fully sideways. As we said, Peterson has already won the championship over Turzak, but I think Turzak thinks maybe if he sends him backwards far enough, he might lose some points.
Yeah, he's trying to send him into like last week, and maybe he can get some negative points on the night. Unfortunately, Kyle Turzak is going to get the EOL and have to start at the back yet again. But, you know, I kind of said I thought there would be some patience with the tire situation, but these guys were in a hurry on lap 14, using the bumper, being aggressive. I'm a little surprised by that. Are you, Scott?
Not really. I think we've seen a lot of very aggressive, very fast driving this year. Drivers want to get to the front in a hurry. This is one of the longer races of the season. This is the longest race of the season. We're running 200 laps here. These drivers are more used to these very sprint style 100 lap races where you've got to get to the front immediately. I think we're still in that mindset a little bit here at Langley. Once we get past these first 50 or so laps and we get onto that second set of tires and these drivers start to realize that they are running on just hunks of rubber, maybe they'll be a little bit easier out there. But for now, I think we're going to see them go for it.
Yeah, it just depends on the fall off, doesn't it? It depends on how these tires fall off. Do they hold up? Some tracks on iRacing are like cheese graters, and you will tear the tires up quickly. And then a lot of times at a night race, it won't be as bad as what you'll see in a day race, but it just really depends on the track and the track surface, how it works. I mean, you go race on a big oval like old Atlanta, it'll just chew through the tires. And then you go race, if they're watching the chews right now, you go watch a race at, say, like Richmond, and the tires never wear out. So it just really depends on the track, how it gets rubbered up, temperature, all that kind of stuff. So I think if we see a big fall off here, somebody who saved tires might be able to make some moves here.
We're going to see that for sure. We've got more drivers through the front of the field who started back on that invert. Pace car pulls off. Dempster on the bottom. Peterson on the top. We are green on lap 17.
Great job by Cody Dempster again. Gets a great jump just like he did in that heat. And now Peterson trying to not have what happened to Hallenard happen to him, as he's now back to the third line as Justin Crowe is down to the inside. We'll see if he can shoot that gap behind Justin Crowe. Absolutely what he does. You see Kyle Adams was really trying to fill that gap. Wasn't able to get there.
This isn't going to be like some tracks we've seen this year where the outside lane has kind of come in over the course of the race. No, the outside lane is just going to get worse over the course of the race because there's going to be marbles up there. There's going to be no grip. There'll be no rubber. It'll be horrible to drive the whole way through. It's horrible to drive on lap 19. It'll be horrible to drive on lap 190 as well. You want to be right on the inside. We're going to see a lot of drivers using their bumper fighting for this bottom. We've seen it already. I would not be surprised if we see that move out of Jake Grout here soon on Cody Dempster for the lead.
Yeah, and I wish iRacing was a little bit better about bumps. It just seems like in real life you can kind of push somebody and not spin them out. But here on iRacing, especially if you get to like a low-speed corner, you need a little bit of contact to send the car around, especially on throttle. So, you know, I would love to see iRacing kind of work on that a little bit, make these a little bit more, the suspensions maybe a little bit tougher, where you can make a little bit more contact without ruining somebody's race, because that's sort of the danger, right? Like, you want to move somebody out of the way, but you don't want to back them into the fence, which is always a possibility.
Yeah, and if you back them into the fence, you're going to be the one getting the EOL penalty as well. So it's definitely a middle ground that you've got to hit of trying to get these cars out of the way to make moves while also not outright wrecking them.
Kyle Turzak going around Jace Hale, able to get around as he moves his way back up towards the front. We know he's super fast. No surprise there. I mean, I'm not telling anything that anybody doesn't know already. 8 wins on the season. He's trying to make it 9. Started on the pole, and it's gotten an EOL already after that invert put him sort of in the back. And he continues to try to move forward here. Now he's looking down to the inside of Clayton Edwards.
Yeah, he started this restart back in 12th after going to the back. It's been like, what, 8 laps? He's already back up to 6. It didn't even take him 2 minutes to get those spots. Kyle Turzak is routinely one of the fastest drivers in these fields. He wants to go out, if he can't win the title, maybe at least win half the races this season. I mean, only half the races. Come on, Turzak.
Well, if you look on board, I mean, his car is just better than everybody's. If you watch this entry, he's got some more of a shallow entry. He's getting down on those dotted lines and using that brake to keep the car down on the bottom. He's able to get in the corner better, and he's also able to roll the center better than even Kyle Adams right in front of him. So you can see how good his car is. So there's no doubt in my mind Turzak will be up front at some point tonight. It's just going to take some work, and luckily we have 200 laps to get it done. He's got plenty of time. As we'll jump back up front as Jake Grout still trying to put pressure here on Dempster, but Dempster is like a immovable object. He's just laying right down on the bottom, not really giving Jake Grout any kind of momentum to try to take the spot.
No, Dempster doesn't have a win yet this year, but he's been fast on multiple occasions, so this will be a great chance for him to get his first win in the last race this season. Looking a little bit back from Jake Grout, there's Justin Crow back there as well in third, trying to become the second driver named Justin to get a win this year, behind Justin Brooks, who won 2 a little earlier.
We see Jake Grout right now trying to set up, find ways to get runs off the corner. You follow the guy forever on the bottom. He's not parking it, but he's going to have sort of he's going to make you hold your throttle. You may be getting a better run through the middle of the corner, but the way he's exiting, you're going to make you hold your throttle, and you're going to miss that run. So I think Jake is trying to find some different lines to find better exits so you can get down to the inside on entry.
Yeah, that's what you got to do here, because your only 2 options are send it up the inside on corner entry or pull a bump and run. There's not really many other ways to get down to the bottom, especially at a track where the straightaways are short. Kyle Adams around in front of the field, contact with Alex Hallinar.
I'm not quite sure who that was. I don't know if it was Turzak. Somebody was down to the inside. I could see it off screen, but he's got some damage on that 24 machine. Let's go back and see what happened.
Likely going to have to use that fast repair. You'll see it on the drivertees.com replay. This is Kyle Adams, Kyle Turzak behind him. And yep, a little bit of contact between these 2 cars. 24 gets looped. Nowhere to go for Alex Hallinar.
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, it's obviously a racing incident. Nobody is really at fault there. I feel like Kyle Adams was really trying to protect that position, and fortunately, Turzak was already there. He was alongside of him down the straightaway, and I think Kyle trying to shade that entry a little bit. Turzak just not going all the way down to the apron, and they make contact.
Yeah, I kind of doubt that any one driver is probably going to take the claim on that caution, so that might be one left up to some post-race reasoning there. For now, it'll still be Dempster, Grout, Crow up front. Adams has lost a bunch of spots on that. Turzak pending that yellow claim, sitting 5th.
Yeah, I don't think I would claim it. I felt like I had the position down the straightaway. I felt like he got down in the corner like he did. I mean, no offense to Kyle Adams. I don't think Adams was really at fault either. I think it was just some good hard racing there, and unfortunately Adams is the one that went around. He's not coming down pit road, which I'm surprised. He had a good bit of damage.
Yeah, especially with that extra bit of contact with the 57 of Hallinar. That car did come down pit road. Hallinar fixed some damage. He didn't put a fast repair on it, so I do think he just fixed damage, but he was on pit road. Clayton Edwards in the 11, also down pit road. He did take a fast repair, so he's the first driver to use that fast repair on the night, and no driver has claimed that, so it will go to post-race review, but we're getting ready to go back racing. Pace car will pull off out of 4, and we're green on lap 38.
Wow, interesting start there as Peterson timed it just perfectly. I don't know if he'll get penalized for jumping the start. I'm not real sure as, oh man, he gets put in the wall by Cody Dempster, and Peterson now stuck on that outside line again. He was really trying to get a good restart there, and it did not pay off.
No, and now he's going to be moving all the way back. You're seeing so many cars pick the inside on this choose because it is so clearly the line to be in. And this is the danger of picking the top. You can get freight train to the back because here comes Justin Crowe. He's around him. Here comes Kyle Turzak. Now Turzak's around him, and he's going to finally get in right ahead of Justin Adams, but he's dropped all the way from second on that restart back to P5.
Yeah, he knew what he needed to do, and he tried to get a really good restart, and it was so close to sort of having a nose out going into turn one, and it just died on that outside line.
Yeah, you really cannot make that line work, and I don't think these drivers are going to be able to all night. We're a fifth of the way through this race here, lap 42 out of 200, and this is the point where these drivers are going to really start to feel that tire wear. The track's warm tonight. It's going to chew up tires. In the test sessions they were running, it was chewing up about 5% of the tires in 10 laps. So these drivers are definitely starting to feel the wear, and they've still got to run 60 more laps on them.
Yeah, and you could still run fast lap times and not chew through the tires. It's just taking care of them. You don't want to spin them on exit. You don't want to overdrop the entry, so you have to put too much wheel into it. There's ways of saving tire and not put them in a bad position. It's just all about managing the heat. Just try not to overheat them at all, because once you do, it becomes sort of a compound issue, and it never really resolves itself until maybe you can get a caution, or you really just have to back it down for laps.
Yeah, but then you back it down, and with the field running so tight, you expose yourself to the car behind you. So you got to really know when to go. Jake Grout, he's trying to go. He's sitting in second right now, and he's been wanting that lead on Dempster for a while, but he hasn't wanted to make contact to try to force the issue, and he hasn't been able to get the run on the inside of the corner to actually take the position. So he's stuck back there in P2 as we approach the 1/4 mark of our 200-lap race tonight.
Yeah, it's really hard to say how patient Grout's being or if he's feeling the pressure. I mean, he hasn't really been pushing the issue too much. But right now, he is all over the back bumper as cars start to close up as here comes Justin Crowe and Kyle Turzak. And, when you kind of pull away from the other driver, you don't really feel you don't feel any of that pressure. But as somebody gets to your back bumper, all of a sudden the intensity kind of gets ramped up as you're trying to, let's go ahead and get around this guy.
Yeah, especially when you're a driver like Dempster up there, you can really feel the pressure of having Jake Grout right on your tail, and it can kind of trick you up into making mistakes. You think he's going to push it into the corner. You maybe dive it a little deeper to avoid him. Next thing you know, you're a lane up the racetrack. Jake Grout isn't. Jake Grout has the move. It can be really easy to psych yourself out when you've got a car stuck right on your bumper for 30 laps in a row. Dempster has done a great job of keeping it steady and holding on to it and keeping that gap to Grout, keeping himself out front.
I mean, he's obviously fast enough. It's not like he's holding this whole group up. He's got the speed, and when you have the speed, you don't have to really worry. Just run across the bottom, and hey, you're either going to move me or you're going to ride behind me the whole time. So he's saving his tires, taking care of his stuff, just like everybody else. And I think he's doing a perfect job so far of just managing this race, staying out front, saying, hey, Grout, if you want it, come get it. If not, I'm just going to lead some laps.
And I'm pretty impressed by how Kyle Adams has done back there in 6th. He hasn't dropped too far down the order. He's got a pretty big gap in front, pretty big gap behind, so he's kind of just running laps right now. But he took a lot of damage in that contact. You can see it a little bit on that right side. Caution is out further back in the field. It is Clayton Edwards.
I saw him drop through the running order. Not sure what happened. We'll take a look at the B-Speed replay here. drivertees.com replay, and just gets into the back. I can't remember who that was.
That was Anthony Yankello we got into the back of there.
On board with Clayton Edwards is starting to see some of that tire wear maybe come into effect. Really trying to be aggressive on entry, and the front tires just slid on him. Gets in the back bumper of Yankello and just toes immediately. I'm out of here.
And left the session too, so he's fully out of here for Clayton Edwards. He died. Yeah, I think that's what happened. He just dived it in a little more than he was expecting. Quick slam the brakes because he didn't want to plow straight through the 79 and Kello and realized, maybe I'm not built for this.
You know, there are quite a few guys that I know that are exactly like that. They have one little issue and they get frustrated, mostly with themselves, and just say, "I'm out of here," and just quit. It makes me laugh to see that. Some guys are just so competitive and don't like to make mistakes. And, you know, I'm sort of like that. I get embarrassed. I don't want anybody to see. So I try to exit out before the broadcast can see. But, you know, broadcast always finds a way of finding your mistakes.
He could have said me. That's exactly how I race. I make one mistake and I'm like, and then I quit out. That's, you know, that's how it goes.
Well, I'll tell you who's not quitting. That's Cody Dempster. I mean, I know we've said it a bunch, but it's really been impressive. And, it looks like he's going to come down pit road. No, he did. No, he did. I'm sorry. I thought he was coming down pit road just to choose.
He's right there on the wall.
Fake me out there. Well, he's been doing a fantastic job. Peterson now going to be on the outside again. He's going to get part due of trying to get that lead from the outside. We'll see if that pays off. I don't think it will. We'll see what Dempster can do here on this restart. Have to keep doing it over and over again. Been doing a great job so far.
Yeah, we're down to only 10 cars in the field with Jackson Sparks and Clayton Edwards out early. Pace car will pull down. It's a good jump for Cody Dempster. We're back green on lap 59.
Yeah, Peterson going to try to slide in that gap. Third back, and he does, man. Just barely got it. And I think Justin Crowe actually going to get kind of booted out of the line because of it. Just sort of an accordion effect.
Back to 5th for the 86 of Justin Crowe. Back up front. Battles all over this top 5. Dempster, Grout, Peterson, and Terzak is the line up here. Crowe would really like to get himself up to Kyle Terzak because that's the battle for second in points. Crowe came into this race 21, or my bad, I can't read numbers, 19 back of Kyle Terzak, so he needs a couple extra positions over that 15 car if he wants to get P2 this season. There's also the battle between Jake Grout and Kyle Adams. Kyle Adams came in 22 behind Jake Grout, and he's not doing himself any favors as he runs 7th. Jake Grout runs 2nd. Going to need a big second half of this race for Kyle Adams to move himself into the top 5.
You know what? I think these flat tracks like this, I don't know if drivers love this type of racing. I usually feel like a driver loves multiple ways of making a pass. So if you can't get by the guy on the bottom, think like Bristol, well, I'll just go to the top side and make something happen. Or Homestead at a bigger track like that. You know, tracks like this, I think it's frustrating for drivers, but it sure is fun for us in the booth and probably fun for the viewers to watch these guys have to figure this out. It's mind games, a lot of psychological warfare, trying to get the guy, root him up out of the groove without using your bumper, drive it in a little bit deeper, make him look in the mirror, make him make a mistake, and try to drive under him. So I love when you get guys in a single line and have to figure out ways to sort of come up with unique ways of making these passes.
Yeah, I know we ran Irwindale a couple weeks ago, and a lot of drivers said that was their favorite track of the season because you could go 3 wide. I mean, you could use basically any inch of racetrack on Irwindale, and it would somehow be a working racing line. We saw drivers bouncing it off the wall every other lap, and they were still making time. That was what a lot of drivers cited as their favorite race of the season. And this is a whole different type of challenge because it is completely inverse to Irwindale. It's Kyle Terzak. He wants the spot in the top 3. He's got it up the inside of the 71 of Peterson, and when you're on the top, all you can do is force the car on the inside down, try to take away his run off the corner. That's what Peterson's doing now, and it still isn't working. Terzak's got the advantage.
Really impressive. Terzak's entry to middle. He's just so much better than everybody. And even Christian Peterson there as he drove right to that left rear quarter panel. Nothing Peterson could do. Terzak was just able to get down in the corner just so much better. And you don't want to fight too long side by side, especially with the tire count the way that it is. You want to kind of let that guy go on and go. Fighting only wears the tires out even more. So Peterson drops back behind, although he is trying to get back to the inside of Terzak. Not quite sure that's going to work. He got all 4 tires on that apron.
On those first couple restarts, we saw the field stay pretty tight together, but as the tires have started to go away, that is where the field has really begun to spread out. These drivers are really feeling the effects of this tire wear right now. Fall off isn't that great in terms of actual lap times. They've only fallen off about 2/10, 3/10 of a second over the course of this race, but that's because drivers came into this in full save mode already. Their best lap times over the course of this race were already, I'd say, about 3/10 of a second off what they were doing in quali. So they came in looking to save. They're still saving, and I think a lot of the guys up front have done a pretty good job of keeping the rubber fresh as we inch closer to that switchover point on lap 100.
Cody Dempster, Jake Grout really benefiting from that invert. And Turzak Peterson have made their way back up towards the front, but now they have these guys who are flipped to the front now that they have to get through, and they got plenty of time to do it. That's one thing I do love about longer races, is that you can find that little bit extra patience, and we've seen pretty much a solidly clean race here tonight. Just a few cautions, but nothing crazy. The racing sort of lends itself to really long green flag runs when you have a lot of laps. You don't feel like you have to do it right then and there to try to make a pass, be aggressive, a little bit over aggressive, and cause contact, make cause a guy to spin out. You can really be patient like Jake Grout has been so far. That's why I love these long races. But Jake Grout, I think his patience is about to either wear thin or he's going to fall back to fourth, because here comes Kyle Turzak trying to get a position here on that number 49 machine.
Yeah, you've got a lot of time in this race. It's twice as long as any race we've run this season, I think, really with the exception of Milwaukee, which was still 100 laps, but at a much longer racetrack. This is a true test of drivers' endurance here over these 200 laps compared to what we've been doing so far this year. And you're seeing that right now, as we've already got 2 cars out of the race, already got some gaps opened up. Yankeller ain't too far away from being lapped up here. These 4 cars up front, Dempster, Grout, Turzak, and Peterson, have done a great job to keep it steady, stay in the fight, and make sure that when 80 laps ticks over to 180 laps, they are still there trying to win this race.
Oh, as Cody Dempster got real loose there on the entry, the car was yawed out all to hell. And Jake Grout, I think he tried to jump on it, and he got a little bit squirrely himself on exit, and that almost opened the door for Turzak, who's now really putting pressure. Here comes Turzak's best, but he's always good on entry, and he is putting a lot of pressure here on Grout.
He is. It looked like he might have had a chance there, but he couldn't quite get the car up the inside. He's still trying it. Look how low Turzak is trying to go off that corner. He's got it rotating so well on exit. That setup is dialed in on that 15 car, and that's how he's really able to get the speed to move himself up through the field. He's looking for his 9th win of the season. Nobody else has more than 2.
Yeah, you could actually see Jake Grout sort of start to move into more of a defensive driving as he kind of lets Dempster pull away just a little bit, as he is now looking out the rearview mirror trying to keep that 15 behind him.
He is. And the 2 drivers who have won 2 races aren't even here tonight. So the only drivers with a chance to get their 2nd win of the season that are in the field are Christian Peterson, currently running in 4th. He got 1 win at Irwindale earlier this year. And Jake Grout trying to get his 2nd as well. He got his about half the season ago at Sobo. 2 very different tracks from what we're running tonight. It's been a while since we ran a really flat one like this. I would say the last time was probably Milwaukee Mile, but that was won by Ryan Kuhn, who is not in the field tonight.
Oh, a little bobble there for Dempster. That's going to open the door for Grout, who immediately tries to jump on it. The opportunity presented itself. Grout not able to do it. Oh, he was just not. He didn't get the great run that he needed, and then Dempster just kind of gets loose, and Grout not able to be there to take advantage, and caution out on the raceway as Jace Hale is going around.
Yep, that was towards the back of the field. We can see what happened to him here in just a second on the drivertees.com replay. Well, this is with Kyle Adams, I think, in that 24 car. Yes, it is. We're going to zoom it back a little bit. We can see what exactly happened to the 9 machine of Jace Hale. Yeah, just sends it a little too deep up the inside into the 24 car there, and he is around through the grass, and then he goes around again trying to get it back on the track.
He did it a little 360 and drove away. I like that.
Yeah,
Well,
Jace Hale has claimed that caution, and he has also come down into the pits. Couple cars also in. Anthony Yankello, or my bad, Anthony Yankello was in a while back. He pitted the last caution. Alex Hallinar is into the pits. Unsure if that's for damage repair or if he put 4 tires on it. I am going to try and find out here. It was just damage repair for Alex Hallinar. So no tires taken yet.
are you surprised to see somebody not come down and try to take those tires? I feel like right around 100 would have been a good time. You know, I don't know. It seems like it's not the right call because nobody's doing it, but I thought at least one person might give it a shot.
I think tire wear has been a little better than what these drivers were expecting. I think part of that is due to the late session time, but it is going to get worse as it goes as, oh my goodness, Cody Dempster is going to make a move down pit road, and he will drive straight through pit road without actually coming into the box.
He tried to trick us there. It ain't gonna work. They do.
He did.
Yeah, they do. They do a choose. So after the green flag drops, they always clear all black flags, and so that's exactly what's going to happen there. It looks like.
Yep, lights are out on the pace car. Track temp is heating up. We started at 80. It's up to 86. So the tires are going to play a role. Cody Dempster back green on lap 93.
You can just see how nobody wants to be on the outside. Michael Wiseman all the way up to the front row as he's trying to hang on to that second spot as everybody chose the bottom line there.
It worked out pretty well for Alex Hallinar. I think he was running it back in 8th or 9th. Jumped up to 4th because he's the only car who wanted to be on the outside, and he was able to find a hole in front of Justin Crow. So he's managed to get it up to 6th. If I am Jake Grout, I am sweating bullets because Michael Wiseman is off the track more than he is on the track, and he is directly on my door.
Yeah, connection issues. Unfortunately, just part of online racing. You know, that's been around forever. If you're ever on dial-up, you know exactly what that's like. It's been around forever. It's sort of the sim racing version of, you know, like mechanical issues. We don't really have mechanical motors will blow, but you don't really have brake failures. You don't really have tire failures, or just random part failures, anything like that. So internet issues is sim racing's mechanical failures, and it's so frustrating when you're the one that's having the issue, but it also can definitely be frustrating if you're trying to race around that guy.
You ever raced in a thunderstorm? It's not a particularly good experience, both in real life and in online, because you get a lot of connection issues when you're doing that.
Oh!
Terzak still fighting for third. Yeah, there was a wiggle out of Dempster. My bad, that's not Dempster. That's Jake Grout back there. He was running second, got way loose out of the corner. Terzak gets through for P2. And now, check out Christian Peterson, your champion, through for third. Grout on the outside and in trouble. He'll slot in ahead of Justin Crow.
Yeah, starting to see that tire wear start to rear its ugly head a little bit there as he slid the tires off the corner, and really great job of catching that thing because he almost was going around and kind of did a four-wheel slide trying to hang on to it. It's going to cost him a couple spots. He was up there trying to get the lead away from Cody Dipster, and now he's back to fourth.
Halfway through this race, and Cody Dempster opened up his biggest lead of the race. He's used to having cars right on his bumper. He's opened up a half-second lead, but unfortunately for him, that half-second lead is to 8-time winner Kyle Terzak, fastest driver in the series in terms of number of wins this year. And even with a little bit of a hole in the nose there, he's clearly still got speed as he tries to track down that 024.
Yeah, it reminds me of Tony Stewart. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. That's what it feels like at the moment. Start playing the Jaws theme because here comes Terzak. He's been obviously the fastest car. I mean, it's so clear watching him drive around the track that he is just so much better than everybody. And if he gets out front, it's going to be bad for the field, especially since we have over 100 laps to go. And you see Dipster really using that apron, trying to rotate the car. It's sort of a desperation almost to keep that 15 behind.
I just want to note, Terzak has really done well to manage these tires. His fastest lap of the race compared to what he's running now is 0.17 seconds. He's not even 2/10 off his best lap on 105 laps on these tires.
Yeah, I mean, when you can't go anywhere with traffic, it's very easy to save your tires, I feel like. It's just not had to really put any pressure on them. But now, starting to get to the back bumper of Cody and just ever so slightly gets there. We'll see if Cody can hold him off. I think Cody has done such a fantastic job so far. I really feel like he's not going to give up the lead easy. Kyle's really going to have to get aggressive here.
No, Dempster has led almost every lap this race. He's been on a roll, but if there's any driver who can make the move, it is the 15 of Kyle Turzak, and he is looking low. Got a nose up the right rear of the 24. We're going for the lead down into 3. Turzak has to back out, but Dempster goes a little wide, and that might open the door once again for the 15. No, Dempster's still in front for now.
All right, so Dempster only has to do that for another 90 laps, and he'll be able to hold off Turzak here. He is driving the hell out of that car. He's going to have to do that over and over again, it seems like. The 15 is just going to keep pounding him.
He is for sure. This 15 machine, Kyle Turzak, is not going to go away. And he's got 90 laps to do it, but he might do it right here. Kyle Turzak up the inside of Cody Dempster. We've got a car around, but we're going to keep rolling. No caution for Alex Hallinar as Kyle Turzak takes the lead away from the 024.
Man, what a great pass there. I mean, what he's been doing all night, set it up perfectly, got the entry, and Cody just nothing he could do in the middle of the corner on that outside line. Now he is going to try to stop the bleeding. He's got Peterson all over the back bumper of him now, so Cody's in a fight to try to stay up near the front.
And I'll tell you what, I'm pretty sure the hardest driver in this series to pass is Kyle Turzak. You got to be perfect to get your way around that 15 car. Track continues to heat up, temperature up to 87 miles an hour, even though we're getting later into the evening, approaching midnight in sim. That is going to really start to heat up these tires as we go. Humidity is high, track temp is high. These tires are going to be really pushed to their limits here. 115 laps on them for everybody, and we still got 85 to go. We'll see who's going to be the first to use that change they've got back in the pits.
Peterson trying to set up Dempster here, driving in, letting it kind of wash up in the middle, driving off the bottom as both of them sort of slide the rear tires there just a little bit. We'll see if Peterson can try to get this position quickly so he can start to hunt down 15 of Kyle Turzak. He's going to look down to the inside. We'll see if he can get it here.
He is going to look for this spot.
Whoa.
He's going to try to get second. He's loose out of the corner. There's that tire wear in action. He'll drop back to third. I'll tell you what, I don't think it's going to be too long before we'll have a caution, because if you've watched Alex Hallinar at all, he has been Tokyo drifting through literally every corner for the last 5 or so laps now. He is running on absolutely no tire wear. I think a lot of drivers in the field are probably in the same boat as he is. This has been going on for about 7 laps now. He's 2 laps down. He's just desperately trying to hold on to it, not spin it out, and not go any more down. That's a sign of how worn these tires are getting on some of these cars.
Yeah, and you light they're just basketballs. You light them on fire, and they just will not respond until they cool back down, and he is in big trouble right now. It seems like the 57 struggling to keep that car straight. Holy cow, look at him, 4-wheel slide there.
Yeah, he spun it out about 10 laps ago, but there was no caution because he was alone and it was off the racetrack. He is really having to wheel that thing to keep it straight. This is 120 laps on your tires and full effect. Oh, he's going to keep it straight somehow. I am not sure. I think he might just have to pit here because the leaders are coming up on him. As we mentioned, leaders battle for second. Peterson is up the inside of Cody Dempster, and it looks like he'll be able to take P2 away.
Yeah, and it seems like Cody Dempster having the same issue that Hallinar is, just a little bit. You see him really getting loose, trying to hang on to it. as Peterson goes by. So you're right, tire wear becoming a huge factor. And, I think these guys can likely make it on fuel all the way to the end. I don't think they have to make a green flag pit stop. You see Terzak going or putting Hallinar yet another lap down. But I said there are no blown tires, but when you run these things down to 0%, there absolutely is blown tires when you wear them all the way out. And right now, I think Hallinar, you can probably see air in his tire.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be running on maybe even a little less than treads for Alex Hallinar. He is just doing his best to get a finish. He will get a top 10 this race just by virtue of making it to about lap 50, but he's going to keep trying to get as much as he can by the end of this race. He's toughed it out through every other race this season. He was running some of the races this season, start and park on a keyboard just to get points. He's got 7th. He's had a pretty good year, all things considered. Definitely the top driver of the ones who've raced on a keyboard.
Yeah, wow, it's been about 30 years since I've driven on a keyboard in a racing sim. I didn't recommend it then. I still don't recommend it now, but I love the dedication of it. As we watch Christian Peterson start to close in on Kyle Terzak a little bit, I like to see that.
All right, I do have an update here. Alex Hallinar did receive a black flag for having a tire at 0%. It was cleared, and he's still driving it. I mean, you can kind of see that he's got a flat tire on that thing.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, props. No, is
caution.
caution.
Around.
Jake Grout.
Out of nowhere, Jake Grout backwards in the middle of the racetrack. He's already a lap down.
That's not good for tires.
I wonder what happened there. No, that is definitely not good for the tires. I'd imagine he wants new ones. We're going to see the DriverTees.com replay. He was getting lapped when this happened.
I think
so he might have been in the same boat as Hallinar, where he was completely cooked on tires and was just desperately trying to survive, and he just lost it right in front of the leaders. Whoa, that was close.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch that from Terzak's point of view. On board with the 15 of Kyle Terzak is spooky.
Ooh. You don't get much tighter than that. Everybody is down into the pits now. So this will be a pit stop for every driver, and it will at least be 2 tires. I think Terzak's only taken 2. Terzak has only taken 2. He put right sides on. He's left the lefts on. A couple other drivers on the same strategy. Justin Crowe, Cody Dempster, Michael Wiseman all down for 2. Christian Peterson, Jace Hale, Kyle Adams all down for 4. Jake Grout down for 2. And Anthony Yankello did not pit, but he is coming down a lap late.
Yeah, I like the 2-tire call. I think the right rear is obviously the one that everybody's... I'm not sure. I'm assuming the right rear is the one that everybody's having trouble with. But we haven't seen the tire wear affect lap times that much. I think track position has been way more important. So far, it seems like you just don't want the tire to get down to 0. It seems like you can run a 10th off of your fastest pace, even with your tires down to 20-30%. So it seems like, 2 tires probably a pretty good call here. I kind of like it.
Yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. It will be bad for Christian Peterson because this is going to demote him far back, except he is going to choose to restart on the outside, so it'll actually put him up in 4th. And he is one of 2 cars that have chosen to start on the outside. It is him, it is Cody Dempster, and that is literally it. Every other car has chosen the bottom.
Obviously trying to see what he can do with 4 tires as they come down to the restart zone. Kyle Terzak going to get a great jump here, although Cody Dempster does get a great start. There is a gap behind him. We'll see if he can squeeze in front of Justin Crowe. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to.
Well, Crowe is going to fight hard because he doesn't have a win, but a backup corner entry is going to let Cody Dempster down. Now, Peterson's got a fight with Michael Wiseman's got some internet issues fixed. He'll slide back into line in 5th, and he might try a crossover on that 74 car. He will try a crossover on that 74 car. Down to the apron, Peterson's going for 4th.
Still waiting on those tires to get up to temp. That's the one disadvantage of 4 tires at the moment. you got to get all 4 of them up to temperature, where these guys up here at the front, they've got 2 that still has that heat in it. So it's going to take him a little bit longer to get rolling. As you can see, he was struggling on the outside, tried to let Michael Wiseman go and then dive underneath so he didn't get stuck on the outside. So far, so good. Now he can set his sights on the top 3.
He's already your champion, as we've said. He doesn't have anything on the line for points here because he won the championship by simply starting the race, but he does absolutely want to get himself a second win, and a second win in the last 3 races even here tonight. He's sick of finishing runner-up. He's sick of finishing 3rd. He just wants to be on the top step of the podium and the top step of the championship standings.
Yeah, I mean, drivers are selfish. If I'm going to win the championship, I want to win the race because I don't want to share it with anybody else. I don't want anybody else doing donuts out there, celebrating, getting the winner's interview. I want to be the one that gets the interview. I want to be the one that gets the championship interview. I don't want anybody else to get any love tonight because I'm the man.
No, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and champion Christian Peterson. We're going to ask you about 12 questions here tonight.
He wants to get up there and get that win. You don't want to be celebrating and have another car doing donuts next to him. Nope. I want all the glory if I'm Christian Peterson.
Last thing he wants is 2 drivers doing burnouts. As we come down, we're hitting kind of the final stretch of this race, over 2/3 of the way in. We're going to have 50 to go here very shortly if this stays green. Only about 15 minutes left of racing. Terzak has pulled out half a second, and he's going faster than ever with these new tires. But Dempster has led about half the laps this race. He's lurking back in 2nd. Justin Crowe wants his first win in 3rd. Our champion, Christian Peterson, in 4th. And I think Chase Hale is going to get a season-high finish today if he brings it home in 5th.
Yeah, some guys taking advantage here of these new tires, and Cody Dempster sets the fastest lap of the race, and then the next lap, Justin Crowe sets the fastest lap of the race. So these guys are not waiting around. They're pushing extremely hard, trying to keep up with this 15.
Absolutely. There's no time to waste because you don't know if you're going to get another yellow. Some of the cautions were caused by close contact between drivers and very worn tires. Nobody's got very worn tires anymore, and the field is pretty spread out. So I don't think we're going to be seeing many risks for a caution over these last 50 laps.
Yeah, I mean, I think Terzak is just so consistent. I just watch his lap times, and it's just the same lap time over and over again. And, you know, Dempster and Crowe can run a fast lap, and then they'll run a 4 and then drop back to the 6s, and Terzak's just 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. It's just he's beating them to death with consistency.
Yeah, I mean, you look at him, 5'6", 5'9", 5'7", 5'5", 5'1", 5'9". It's just so consistent for Kyle Terzak over the last 10 or so laps, and he hasn't really fallen off much, only dropping under a second from the fastest lap that he's ran all race as he comes around to take 150. 3/4 now of this race in the books. Terzak still pulling away from the 024 of Cody Dempster. We'll see if he can get the win.
It's kind of like a road course when you get out front. Finally, you don't really have to worry about a driver in front of you that you're trying to pass or traffic that you're trying to get around. He will have some lap traffic soon, but he's got all he can do is sit here and focus on hitting the same exact line every single lap. And it's you almost in a flow state at this point because nobody's behind him. He's got 7 tenths, almost 8 tenths back to Cody, and now it's just do qualifying laps pretty much. Just back it up just a little bit, not as hard, but yeah, just go out there and just hit the same line over and over and over again. And Terzak's for sure getting that flow state at the moment.
Yeah, he's just got to be steady. He's running so well right now. He's got clean air in front of him. There's nobody who's really going to compete with him in any way. He's done a great job to just pull away, get the lead. Dempster's back in 2nd. Crowe is in 3rd. Christian Peterson in 4th. Not only our points champion, but I have been informed that his spotter tonight is 12th place in points, John Leday. I think if you combine those, he's about 600 above the field.
Yeah, for sure. Michael Wise is still having connection issues, and no, that's probably frustrating for him, but he's still running in that 6th position. As we're going to go back here, got a battle between Kyle Adams and Anthony Yankello. Not much of a battle. Kyle Adams goes right around him. Yankello really not much.
And I mentioned earlier, Kyle Adams came into this race 22 points behind Jake Grout. Well, Jake Grout is currently a lap down in 9th. Kyle Adams, lead lap car in P7. This would be a great chance to maybe get some extra spots, try to take away that 5th points position from Jake Grout. It's going to be a challenge here with only 40 laps left to go and a pretty big gap to Wiseman in front of him. But, you know, he gets a caution. He's right back in this.
Yeah, Jake had a great run all race long, just pushed those tires a little bit too hard. And now is having big issues. Is back up front, though, Kyle Turzak now out to a 2nd lead with just 40 laps to go. Going to start to get to the rear of the field, catch some lap traffic. I just can't imagine it being too much of an issue, but it could help Cody Dempster get back up there and try to retake this lead.
For 39 to go for Kyle Turzak, who's run such a clean race, and the gap is just growing. We saw it for most of the race, where this battle for the lead was so tight. And now it's the furthest it's been all night. Turzak's the first car to get away by over a second in the lead. He's pulled out 1.2 and climbing to Dempster. And even more, it's 2 back to Justin Crowe. Christian Peterson, he was put in a fight for the lead at one point. He's 3 seconds back. Turzak is just dominant right there right now. There's no one else who can really compete with him. And as he hits lap 164, he's going to start to come up on some lap traffic there. You've got Hallinar, Yankello, Adams a little bit up the road. But for now, there's still clean air in front of him, and he is just hitting his marks. Smooth Saturday night drive. Turzak going to try to get it done to end the season.
Yeah, just impressive drive. I mean, he had to come through the field a couple times. And we noted right away that it just seemed like his car was driving better than everybody else's. I think Christian Peterson probably has a very similar in speed, but just kind of lost some track position here, taking those 4 tires, and found himself on the outside trying to make something happen. Just couldn't do it. I mean, he's running extremely fast lap times, but everybody in the top 4 is running damn near the same time. You're not going to make up any ground if you're running the same lap time. So track position just too important. Turzak's the only one that's really setting himself apart, but it's still really, really close. Him being out front is a huge advantage.
Yeah, it looks like those 2 tires were definitely the right call, because Christian Peterson, he's the first driver who took 4, and he hasn't been able to get it up past 4th. Those 4 tires really have not made the difference that he would have wanted. The only thing that feels like it could stop Kyle Turzak right now is an untimely caution. We've had a couple of those this season, and we've had a couple of cautions already this race, and we've got a slow car getting lapped by Turzak. That is Anthony Yankello, so we're down to 7 on the lead lap. It will be far, far, far from the first time we've had overtime this year. I believe we have had, just doing some quick math here based on the ticker, looks like about 7 out of our 17 races have had overtime, so not over yet for Turzak. He's still got to make sure everything goes his way over the last 29 laps.
It always seems to happen, and no matter what, you're going to get down to the end. And I think on iRacing, you just have to know that hey, this caution's coming out. I'm never satisfied until I see the white flag. It's just the way things go. You could be spread out. Everybody could have 5 seconds in between them at a bigger track, and you just know some jack leg will spin out, and it's just always seemingly like it's a possibility, and it usually happens.
Yeah, it's not over until it's over. We know that from real life. You remember a couple years ago, I think it was Kyle Larson, way in the lead at Pocono, and then he just randomly blew a tire going through the final corner. You never know what could happen. 25 to go, though, for Kyle Turzak, and he has done everything in his control perfectly. Pulled away to a 1.5 second gap. He is dominant tonight. And with only 7 cars on the lead lap, I think soon when he gets around Kyle Adams, we're going to be down to 6 cars on the lead lap. Just been an amazing drive for that 15 car.
Yeah, great. Praise the Lord he didn't start up front, because that would have been crazy this race. I mean, he had to drop through the field twice, and now he's about to lap up to 7th place in just a few laps, most likely. Now, these guys up front, they are battling for position. This is Kyle Adams. Or, no, it's not. It's, yeah, it's Halinar. He's a lap down, so maybe they won't be battling too hard once the leader gets to him. But they are running side by side, and that's going to make Kyle Terzak just a little bit nervous.
And I do have actual points news, because Jake Grout has been given a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So he has dropped from 9th back to 10th. That is going to increase the gap between Adams and Grout to 3 spots, which I believe comes out to, I want to say around 15 points. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's around 15 points. If Adams gets 1 spot, he's going to be pretty close to getting around Jake Grout here and trying to take away that 5th spot in the point standings. I don't know exactly what he needs. I do not know, or I do not have the exact point system up in front of me, but he is very close to getting it with this 3-position lead.
Yeah, if I'm Terzak, I'm just terrified. Halinar has been fine all race long. He just blinked out for about a good 5 to 10 seconds, and then came back. You're just in your head, you're just constantly thinking, okay, all I have to do is make 20 more laps, and then all these things start happening. You've got guys running side by side, running on different laps. You got one car blinking out. It's like, please, guys. It just, I don't know what kind of driver Kyle Terzak. I don't know if he's a calm fellow or if he gets all wound up. I know I'm the type that gets all wound up, and right now I'd be like, get out of my way. Where are you gonna be?
Terzak's usually pretty calm up here. We pull him in the booth pretty quickly after these races because he tends to win so much. And he's always pretty chilled out, relaxed. He knows he's got a good car. He knows he's got a good setup, and he knows he is a fast driver. And he's such a young driver, too, under 18, looking to move into real-life racing next year in these cars, or a similar car to this, using this league as a little bit of experience here before he goes racing for real. He's done a pretty good job of it because he's won 9 races this season. Call him William Byron in 20 years? Maybe. You never know.
Slides up into Kyle Adams just a little bit as he tries to take over that position. Make a little bit of contact. Kyle going to drive back underneath the 15, but I don't think 24's got anything for that 15. He drives it off the top side, and Kyle Adams goes down a lap here with just under 15 laps to go.
Yeah, down to 6 cars now on the lead lap. Those cars being Kyle Terzak, Cody Dempster, Justin Crowe, our champion Christian Peterson, Jace Hale, and Michael Wiseman. Those are the only drivers who have managed to hold on to a lead lap finish out here tonight. It's going to be 12 to go at the line this time, and the gap is still extending for Kyle Terzak. He's gotten it up to 2.2 seconds, and he can coast. He's got some lap cars in between him and Dempster. Just needs to ride it out, be smooth, take it easy, and he will have his 9th win of the season.
Well, we've talked a lot about Kyle Terzak, and I've mentioned this a couple of times, but Cody Dempster, man, what a great race he's had. I mean, to have that invert, get kind of cycled up to the front and lead a bunch of laps here tonight, led 106 laps in that 024 machine, and one of the only drivers in the top 5 to maintain his position after the invert. So I can't say enough about the drive from this 024 machine. Really incredible stuff out of Cody.
Yeah, under 10 laps to go, and Kyle Terzak is just going to be praying that this goes green. No one spin, no one mess up, no one do anything wrong, because it's 8 to go. Under 2 minutes of racing left for Kyle Terzak, and he will be your winner for the 9th time this season. He has been so good all year in this league, but he will not win the championship. That will go to Christian Peterson, who is running 4th, who has had a great season, but Terzak started off the year with a win at Stafford, went into week 2, won at Nashville, went into week 4, won at Myrtle Beach, week 7, won at Southern National. Took a couple weeks off, which hurt him in the points, but week 11 came back, won North Wilkesboro. 3 weeks later, got Oswego on week 14, won Hickory week 15, won Thompson week 17, and he's going for his 4th win in 5 races here tonight. 5 to go for Kyle Terzak at Langley.
Well, he might not win the championship, but tonight, I don't know what the champion gets paid, but Kyle Terzak's going to be $50 richer if he can get this win. That's something we haven't really talked enough about, as they put a little winner's pot here tonight. So $50 to the winner, and Terzak is just a few laps away from getting $50 to probably put into the race program.
It'll help him for sure. Any money's good money. I'd take $50 if I could win a race, but unfortunately I can't, and that is why I'm up here in the booth. Terzak can, however. He takes 3 to go. 2.5 seconds out front. He's got a little bit of lap traffic up there in front of him. That is Anthony Yankello once again, but that 79 car I think will be pretty likely to get out of the way. 2 to go for Terzak.
Yeah, and he could just cruise at this point. He's got such a huge buffer. There's no reason to push the car or even push lap traffic more than needs to. Just be patient. You've got this one in the bag. You just don't want to have any trouble. White flag out.
Nope, he'll move through 1 and 2 right on the bottom. No cautions can stop him now. He's got 8 seconds left. He'll come around through 3 and 4, and Kyle Terzak in dominating fashion wins at Langley, but behind him, Christian Peterson is going to claim your 24-25 Misfit Touring Series Championship.
What a great drive by everybody tonight. Very impressive stuff. 200 laps, a very clean race at a tough racetrack, and congratulations. Kyle Terzak, just a great drive. Got the $50 for the win, got $50, and then Christian Peterson with the championship. Gonna get to celebrate. What a great season by both those drivers.
Gonna get those dual burnouts on the straightaway. You see Terzak gonna park it on the start-finish line. Peterson a little further down in turn 1. Justin Crowe, Cody Dempster are absolutely vibing in the infield right there. Race winner Kyle Terzak, he won the battle, but Christian Peterson wins the war and gets the title. We are going to throw it down now to a promotion of something coming up here in the Misfit Racing Leagues. That would be the Summer Series, and when we come back, we'll have results and interviews with your top 3 finishers and your champions. Stick around. We are back at Langley after the championship race tonight. Your winner, Kyle Terzak, got it done. Wins this race, Cody Dempster, P2. Justin Crowe, P3. Your champion this season, we'll talk to him in just a second. Christian Peterson takes 4th tonight. Chase Hale, P5. Michael Wiseman, P6. And then rounding out your field tonight, all the drivers 1 or more laps down to be Kyle Adams 7th, Anthony Yankello 8th, Alex Allen R9th, Jake Grout 10th, Clayton Edwards 11th, and Jackson Sparks 12th. The other 3 did not take the green flag. And we're going to move on to interviews here, and we are getting ready to talk to your champion this season. That is Christian Peterson. Christian, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Congrats on the championship. It's been a long season. How does it feel after 4 months to finally get it done?
Yeah, it's been long. It feels good, though. It feels real good.
I want you to tell me first about this race here. What was kind of your strategy call there on that pit stop, and how did it kind of play into your result tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like we were past halfway and it was going to be a good time to pit. I really didn't want to pit. Really didn't want to see the yellow. I mean, I felt like my car was coming in, so it was what it was, and they fired off better on 2 tires. I took 4, and I don't know. I just can't seem to get the car to work once we pit and take tires and have less fuel or whatever the case may be. I got to figure that out. But yeah, that was all I was trying to do, was just take forward because I felt more comfortable doing that.
All right. Well, when you look back on this season, it's been a long one. We've ran 18 races. What are kind of your key moments that stick out to you from this championship run?
Well, Irwindale was good because we finally won, and then I don't know, Oxford was good. I mean, the first race we came out at Nashville and we led some laps. We didn't finish very well there, but that was probably a good one. And then I don't know, I just feel like there was only a few where I didn't do very well, so they were all just pretty good, and I was just trying to stay consistent. So I'm pretty happy with how the whole season went.
All right. Anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Oh yeah, of course. Just like Kyle, he does a great job. Kyle and Jake, everybody at MRL, you guys putting on the broadcasts. All the guys who show up. It's been fun racing Turzak and Dumpster, and I just read his name, Dumpster, and all the guys that run up front, Sylvia, Grout, Yankello, Kyle, everybody who shows up and runs clean and good and hard. It's a lot of fun. So just thanks to all you guys.
All right. Well, congrats on your championship, Christian Peterson.
Thank you so much.
All right, Christian Peterson, your champion, but your race winner tonight is going to be Kyle Turzak. Kyle, you didn't get the championship, but you did win 9 out of 18 races this year. Is that a little bit of a consolation prize?
Oh yeah, for sure. To win half the races is pretty good, in my opinion. I feel like.
All right. Well, first, let's tell me about tonight here. Was it a little difficult to pass there for the lead? Because you spent a lot of time waiting behind Dempster, but once you did, you were able to pull away.
Yeah, I just had to find the right hole to get to him. I know that he's really fast, and he also has real life experience same with me. But he just ran the car store here, and I could tell that he was getting a little bit loose with those tires. And I knew I saved a little bit more tire than him. I felt like I know I came back through the field, but I felt like I didn't slide my right rear as much. And I know he was battling for the lead with Grout most of the time. And as soon as I saw Grout was slipping and sliding, got past him, and I saw Cody doing the same thing, and I got to him, and I was waiting for the right time, and he was being aggressive, not letting me get in there, which is fair, it's racing, but yeah, I just had to find the right time to, make my move, and I saw him get loose out of 2, and that was the right time, and after that, we just went to work and put some really fast laps down, and then we got that yellow, which is really close. I thought we were wrecked right there, but put it for tires right there, and went out front and just did my thing.
Yeah, how do you think tire wear played a role in this race? We were talking to some drivers before the race, and they were saying, "Oh, it's the worst it's been all year." But you kind of weren't falling off too much. You're only a couple tenths back on tires. So how did that play a role into your race?
Yeah, in practice, the track temp was really, really high, and it was daytime. But as soon as it went to night, it dropped like at least. I think we went from like 110 to 80, so it went down really, really, it went down. So I don't think we had to save as much, if not any. But when that big green flag run happened, I feel like people realized that you did need to save a little bit. And when we got that caution at like lap 135, I want to say ish, we all went down. But before that, I felt like that people were kind of pushing, to be honest. And when I was coming back for the field, I was just taking my time, not making sure I don't slide the right rear, and that's what I did.
All right. Well, when you look back at your 9 wins this season, are there any that stand out to you?
Um, I would have to say probably Oswego, because Oswego was a different track for me, and it was very hard to pass there. And um, I don't know how to really say it, but Oswego was a really good win for me because I knew that I think the week prior, something like that, something bad really happened to our program. Oh, it was the bull ring. The bull ring is when we wrecked pretty bad, and I knew that I had to go out and win, and Oswego was definitely a confidence booster right there. So Oswego was definitely a great win, but within Misfits, I feel like that Rudolph race this year was definitely the best win that I had. It wasn't the touring series, but it was still within the league. So coming from the back of the Rudolph, winning that money, and just with that old tires, that was definitely the high of my season.
All right. Well, anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for the broadcast. Adams for putting this whole season on. We kind of lost cars at the end, but hey, we had fun. Put $50 on tonight, so that's good for everybody. To support everybody, so that was good. Congrats on Christian for this championship. He drove really consistent all season, and he deserves it. So congrats to him. I want to thank Arkham Shop Shop. We had to set up dial it in tonight. Me, Crow, Dempster, and Grout were definitely up there. Adams and Michael also. Good job to them. Custom shots for the amazing iRacing photos. Everybody's watching back at home, and Turzak Racing on Facebook.
All right. Well, congrats on your win tonight, Kyle Turzak.
Thank you, guys.
And while we were talking to Kyle, I believe Eddie has caught back up with our second place finisher tonight, Cody Dempster.
What's
Yeah.
going on?
What's happening, Cody? Well,
Oh, not
man,
much.
I've been impressed as like hell with you tonight. Everybody that qualified up front, kind of after the invert, they all kind of moseyed their way back up front, and you kind of got a little gift there with the invert. Got to start up front, and damn near led almost. You did lead more than half the race, 107 laps up front. That car was really, really fast. How did it feel out there? Did it feel like when you got up front? Did you feel like you were going to be able to hold on for 107 laps?
I mean, I really didn't know what I was going to get into getting into this. I knew it was going to be a good piece. Ryan always builds us good pieces, but I didn't run a single lap in practice. I was busy doing some other things and eating dinner with the wife, and showed up and qualified and didn't do half bad in qualifying. And really my first laps were heat racing. So I was kind of shocked. I took the number one spot there on the initial start out of 2, and I was just trying to ride, and I ended up burning my right rear off more than I should have, just from overdriving it, getting tight, not really knowing what I needed to do. But it was a stout piece, and I was pretty shocked with how well we did right off the rip.
Yeah, you're the only invert that stayed up towards the front, and for a good reason. But when you were leading that race, obviously everybody was in tire saving mode. You didn't know how long it was going to go. You talked about how you kind of burned your rears off. How much are you thinking about that? And it's almost like you don't want to get too far ahead, but you also don't want to get past. But you have to save tire. You don't want the guy behind you saving more than you are. So how does that go into your thinking while you're driving up front like that, knowing that you got guys stacked up behind you, just kind of riding? How do you manage your tires in a situation like that?
It's just keeping enough of a gap, build up a couple tenth gap, a few car gaps, so that no one can just sail it off in there on you. But at the end of it all, is as long as you have that gap and you're just trying to maintain that gap, if they slow down a little bit, you kind of slow down with them and kind of play the accordion game with them and maintain that gap so that you can react to whatever they're doing behind you.
Well, you did that almost perfectly to a T. You didn't get the win. You had a great drive, but you come home in second, and just a damn good drive for you tonight, Cody. So congratulations on that second place finish. A great season. You come home around 10th in the standings, but it seemed like you had plenty of talent to be up front this season. And so, man, congratulations on a great season. Congratulations on a great finish here in the last race.
Thank you much. I appreciate it. Hopefully, come the next season, I can run more as long as real race cars don't get in the way of that.
There you go. Well, who you have to thank tonight?
I got to thank Ryan for always giving us a stout piece every week this season. We pretty much kicked butt everywhere we went, we were contending. You guys are putting on an excellent broadcast all year. All the MRL staff are making this thing go on, and I know it's a lot of money to make it happen. And I appreciate them doing what they do, and look forward to the next one.
Well, there you have it. Cody Dempster. I almost said dumpster reading your name in in Discord. I almost made a mistake.
Won't be a first, won't be a last.
Congratulations, Cody, on second.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Well, it looks like Crow is not in Discord, so we won't be able to talk to third place. But Scott, I mean, incredible season. I'm really sad that Scott wasn't here to call this race. I know he was super bummed out about that, but I came in a little bit late, but what I've seen has just been incredible driving, and tonight sort of kind of was the cherry on top for this season.
Yeah, I know Scott is probably having a great time. I think he's at the World of Outlaws right now, so at least he's still watching some car racing out there somewhere. We've had a great season. This has been so much fun from everything we've done this season, from the start of the season at Stafford all the way now to Langley. It's been 4 months, and coming up over the next couple weeks, we're not quite done yet. Because while the regular season has ended, we will be running the Triple Crown Showdown over the next few races, and that will start next week. We will be going to, I believe it'll be Slinger next Saturday night for 200 laps there. After that, we'll move into Bristol. After that, we'll move into Martinsville. And after that, it's only about a month or two until we get into the Summer Series. So a lot to look forward coming up here in the Misfit Touring Series. But for now, for myself, Sky Shrek, for Eddie Smith in the booth, for Bradley and everyone back at V-Speed, for Kyle Adams, who's putting on this series, it's been a great Misfit Touring Series Season 2. Have a good night.